And now we're back for the post that anyone who took the most recent bar exam in California does not want to need to watch, because it's about the score letter you received from the bar when you failed to reach the pass line. But I'm going to reframe this for you. If you got one of these letters and you're feeling sad, angry, embarrassed, all of those feelings, then we need to reframe it right now about the letter, because the letter gives you valuable information that you can use to prepare for the next bar exam and make it your last attempt at the bar because you pass it. So let's get into what's in that letter and how you can use it. You're not going to study for a retake the same way you did the first time you took the bar exam. You're not going to mindlessly pay thousands of dollars to take the same course you took before. You're going to tailor your studying based on the feedback you get from the California Bar in the scores reported to you in that letter. So let's get down to it. Before we do that, let me tell you that at the end of this video, I will give you some coupon codes that you can use if you should decide that you want to study in more depth with us. So some basics right off the bat. For the July 2024 California Bar exam, the total number of points you needed on the written part of the test to be considered to be at the passing level in the written part was 428.43. In other words, 429 points. That's raw score points. That's what would translate to a 1390 in terms of scaled score points. And of course, to pass the California Bar, if you're taking the general bar exam, you don't have to pass the written part and pass the MBE part. You simply have to come up with a total scaled score of 1390. Now, take a look at what that total written score means. It means that you needed to average just over 61 points on the essays and the PT. In major bar courses, people are frequently told that 65 is the pass line. Not really. The California Bar scores essays in 5-point increments. A 60 is generally just below the pass line, and a 65 is considerably above the pass line on the essays and the PT. It's usually somewhere between 60 and 62, maybe just over that, points average that you need to achieve. So that letter gives you your individual scores on the essays and the PT. And if you glance down that column, that first read column on the written scores, you'll notice a score range. And that range is going to be important for us to take a look at. So what do we need to see in the score letter? Look at your raw written total score and see how far off from that total number you are. Did you score better than that pass line on the written, or lower than the pass line on the written? Then look at your MBE scaled score. And here's where we can't be precise, because NCBE no longer is willing to provide precise information to us about that score, about the MBE score. They will not give you a raw score. They don't provide a way to figure out how many items you got correct out of the number of items in the total. What they give you is your scaled MBE score, and on the right side of the page, next to the written scores, they give you your MBE percent below. So for each of the subjects tested on the MBE, they tell you what percentage of the applicant pool scored below you in that subject. So how do you figure out what all that means? Well, the scaled MBE score, the closest approximation we can suggest to you is that you take that scaled MBE score. Let's say it's 1200. Move the decimal place over 1. If you got a 1200 on the MBE, consider it a 120 when what you need is 139. So take the 139, subtract the 120, and that will tell you roughly how many more items you need to get right to be performing at the passing level on the MBE. So now, just from the two total scores, the written total and the MBE, which is your weakest area? For a lot of women, because there is a gender difference on multiple choice performance, for a lot of women that MBE score is our most difficult area. But you need to look at your letter and figure out where your relative strengths and relative weaknesses are. So now, how do you use that information? Well, to do that, let's take a look at a couple of things in more detail. First, on the list of written scores, look at the PT score, reported as Essay 6. That score counts double the weight of any single essay. So if you need to beef up your performance in the written part of the bar exam, one of the quickest ways to do that is to improve your performance on the performance test. Because if you can raise your performance test score by 5 points reliably, you're adding, in essence, 10 raw score points to your raw score total, or 40 points to your total scaled score on the exam. You get a quicker return for improvement on the PT than you do on any single essay. And then look at the pattern of the scores on your individual essays. Did you get any 65s or 70s? If you did, that tells me, and it should tell you, that you know how to write a good answer. And so this is perhaps a matter of knowing the subjects better in the sense of what issues are tested and how those issues cluster together and how you can analyze them in an impressive way in an answer. If you didn't get any 65s or 70s, then there may be a more basic problem with how you're crafting the answer, as opposed to whether you know the law or not. Look at the pattern of your MBE scores, the percent below. If those are all very low numbers, that tells you that your understanding of the law across the board is not as good as it needs to be to pass the bar. Do you notice that one essay score is quite low compared to the others, and that same area in the MBE is also quite low? So say the percent below you in that subject is down at 3 or 4%. That tells you that that's a subject that you need to understand better. So now what do you do with this information that you've been gifted in this letter? And I say that not trying to be ironic or sarcastic. I know it didn't feel like a gift when you got the letter, but the information in the letter is a gift. If you're low across the board, low in terms of your written scores and low in terms of your MBE score, and it's pretty much across the board, then I would strongly suggest that you start by using a good review set on the main subjects of the bar. Particularly start with the MBE subjects. There are a lot of good reviews out there. We happen to have one that I think is excellent. It's videos of our past teachings, and we have them on our Patreon channel. which you can find by going to patreon.com/barsecrets. And you can watch our in-depth reviews of each of the subjects. Start with that. And as you're reviewing a subject, look at past essays and good answers to those essays and work multiple choice items. Work your way through the multiple choice subjects of the bar first because they're double tested. They're tested on the MBE and the written. And you're going to need to have a better understanding of the core structure of each of those subjects and how the issues are tested and how they cluster together in the way hypotheticals are written. If your weakness is in a particular area, like multiple choice but not the written, then this is more of a test-taking skill because your written scores prove that you understand the subjects well enough. Then I would suggest that you get a good set of MBE items and work through 3,000 items between now and the bar exam. Start with them one at a time and really figure out why the correct answer is the best answer for that question. If your multiple choice scores are okay, but your written scores are low, then this is probably a matter of needing to learn better strategies for handling issue spotting and writing the issues in an essay in a clean way quickly enough. But don't ignore that PT score. Even if your PT score is one of your better scores, more PT practice because of the double weighting of that PT score. The more you can raise that, the more you add to your total score in the written. And just a word here, if you're sitting there feeling defeated because you did everything you could possibly do and you didn't pass the bar exam, let me tell you, you're starting from a higher plateau this time. And I know that you can do this. I know that because you've already proven that you know how to be successful. You graduated from law school. You did that one step at a time, and that's the way you'll do preparing for the next bar exam. So you have had some time to grieve over that letter. And now's the time to start, one step at a time, preparing to knock this out of the park on your next attempt at the bar. And if you're interested in studying in more depth with us, we have a couple of courses that you can take a look at. You can read about them on our website, barsecrets.com. We have a Cal Retakers course, and we also have a Cal Basic course. The main difference between the two is that although both of them afford you the materials for 4 simulated exams throughout the month of January, the Cal Retakers program gives you pretty intensive voice annotated feedback from me on one of your answers each week in each of those exams. Cal Basic does not. I promised you a coupon code. That coupon is good for either Cal Retakers or Cal Basic, and the coupon lasts through December 15th. If you want to use that discount, it will give you 10% off on either of those courses with us. The coupon code is FEB25 Retake. That's FEB25 RETAKE. You can do this one step at a time, one subject at a time, even if you're working, whether you study with us or not. We would love to work with you, but you have lots of choices. If this video has been of any help to you, then please subscribe to our channel. Please like the video. And I would love to hear comments from people.